Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Warrior TV. Steve Knapp, the Mindset Warrior, here with episode 2 of the Power Hour of Mindfulness. Tonight, I'm joined by a very special friend of mine, a superstar mindset coach from Ireland, the amazing Yvonne Doherty, someone that I've been extremely inspired by in the short time we've known each other. It's only been, probably barely 6 months, but there's so much to learn from this amazing lady. And I can't wait to have a chat with her. So we're just going to do a quick countdown and I will be back with Yvonne. Yvonne, welcome. Thanks so much for joining us.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Oh, God, I've been so excited about this. I didn't tell everybody. I only just teed this up with Yvonne over the weekend because I was wanting to have a powerhouse superstar to have on for the second show, and you came straight to mind. So I've been very excited and nervously waiting for today to come around.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to it. Glad it's finally here.
Yay! So I just touched on quickly in the intro about your coaching and what you're doing, but I'd love for you to tell everyone how that all began and where you were at before you found the coaching world.
Oh, that is a big question. Amazing. Love it. So, yeah, I suppose it's interesting thinking back on it now because I feel like it has been about 10 years or so in the making, which feels bizarre to be saying, but it has been. That was kind of my own personal journey. Like, teenage years were very challenging, and that's when I would have experienced challenges with my own mental health, and I had eating distress, anxiety, depression, and it was that obviously it was a big challenge at the time. It felt like the worst thing ever, but in truth it was the catalyst to me discovering myself and getting to know myself and realizing what I'm here for, what life could be about, what I want it to be about, and who I want to be throughout that process. So yeah, I suppose pre-coaching world, it was the development of myself and getting to know myself and having that fire in my belly lit to actually help other people. And coaching was just the medium that I wanted to do that in, because I'd been to counselors, been to therapists and psychiatrists and all sorts of people. And I think at different times I did want to be in that world, but I also didn't. I don't want to be kind of, not to speak poorly of anyone in that profession, but I found it didn't resonate with me. It wasn't who I wanted to be. I love the word coach. I love the idea of being a coach. It's like you're helping people to bring out their own potential. You're there on the journey with them. You are cheering people on. You're supporting them. And it's not that kind of more professional, maybe sitting across from each other, reading a book about this condition or things like that. But it's very much being in there with people. And so that really stuck out to me. So I remember, yeah, probably maybe 8 years ago or thereabouts, writing down. I used to write down all the things that I wanted in my future. And that was just kind of me connecting to a vision beyond my current experience or my experience back then. I was like, there must be something better. And throughout that time, it was, I want to help people. I want to help people. I want to help people. So I had written down life coach, one of those journals, wherever it is now. And that was just something that one day I'll recover, one day I'll feel better, and one day I'll help other people go through similar journeys. So fast forward, and I fully recovered and I went traveling, and like that, just deepening my connection to myself, figuring out myself and enjoying freedom, because I hadn't had that mental liberation for many years. And so when I was in a really good place, I saw an ad for the Coaching Institute and I was like, now's the time. Now's the time to get into this world and to, yeah, start sharing and becoming part of that. So yeah, it was long route we got here.
Coaching Institute seems to be able to find us at the perfect time.
Interesting.
We've got a couple of quick hellos in the comments already. Richard Fay, g'day mate, thanks for watching. And Arnie Shazza's joining us too, Yvonne. We've got Arnie Shazza on board.
Lovely
so great to have her here. And I love what you touched on there with the from going through the similar experiences with like the psychologists and all that sort of stuff. I found the hardest thing for me was, or the difference between what we do and what they do, is it always feels like you're almost with a school teacher or a principal, whereas on that side of the field, you're more being told what to do and how to do it and where to be. Whereas I'd love to know your thoughts as a coach, where you're more working with the person, finding their own answers moving forward, rather than, we're not here just to say, do this, do that, follow that, and you'll be fine. I love that as the totally different approach to trying to get the same goal.
Yeah, I nearly feel like even the dynamic, there's less kind of hierarchy, or there's less of an idea of like separation, but it's like we're here together. And I think what I experienced anyway was just this idea of, this is your problem and this is what you need to do. And this kind of thing, like prescribing nearly homework as well as other things. But whereas with coaching, it is just seeing the person as whole and complete, first off, knowing that they have all the resources within them to be who they want to be, to get where they want to be. And there's just something getting in the way. And it's helping them to really connect to that strength within, or that reconnection to themselves that breaks through that. And so anything that's getting in the way doesn't have to stay in the way. I think, like you said, it is asking, what do you think about this? How would you approach this? What do you think would be really helpful? Because I wholeheartedly believe everyone has those answers within them, but we just aren't even used to using our own voices, or we don't trust ourselves. So I think having that space in coaching, it opens up that space of like, no, actually, you know these things. It's not, I'm not better than you. I haven't just read more books than you or anything like that. But we are both having a human experience, and yours just requires a bit more support at the moment. And I'm here to help you create that for yourself and to be there with you on the journey.
Yeah, that's brilliant. And I think from the work you're doing especially, and I know I'm trying to follow suit, is we're not coming from a textbook. We're working with people on problems that we've lived. So at least we're not just trying to pick out and guess from a manual what's going on. Like we've been through there. We've been in the trenches with you. So we feel that pain as well, and can sort of come at it from a different angle than someone who's only read up on what people are going through, I suppose.
Yeah, 100%. And even in my own journey, that's what made the difference. I went to about 7 different therapists before I landed on the ones that I recovered with. And the difference was, everyone in that center had been through, it was eating disorder recovery for me. Everyone had been through an eating disorder, had fully recovered, and we're now helping people through it. So not only did I know that when I said things, they understood me because they had been in my position, but they also knew how that condition can twist things and can distort things. They know from a lived experience of it that it's like, they can call me on my bullshit like nobody else can. You don't learn about these things in textbook, you learn it from living it. And that's what really changed the game for me, was having that guidance from someone who had been through that journey as well. And it just feels more real. You have more connection, you know, they get you. You don't have to even explain things as much or try and go back, this is why I am the way I am. They're like, they don't need that. It's very much just as they just understand that experience on a different level.
Yeah, and being able to, I suppose, being able to be heard by somebody who's not sort of casting any judgments or aspersions is going to carry a lot of weight as well, and allow them to sort of find their own path without feeling spoken down to and worried about an opinion. When there's no judgment or fear around it, you're going to be so much more useful for them moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And even that idea of, like, because I would have had in different places, like you're doing this questionnaire, or you're trying to be assessed into a box or something like that. Again, with this place, it wasn't about labels, it wasn't about like any of these different things. It was like, you as a person having an experience, how can we help you through to have better experiences ultimately? Like, it's not trying to, because I feel like sometimes with those counselor kind of situations, it's like, did I answer this correctly? Is this what they want me to say? Is that kind of like, oh, I don't know. Are they kind of that's what I felt like at different times. So I think it is just more like, not casual, but kind of more human or more relatable in that sense.
Yeah, and that's what I've sort of seen. I suppose tell everyone a bit about what you're bringing to the table now with your programs and who you're working with. And I know you've got a few exciting things going on with some different demographics at the moment.
Yeah, so main thing I suppose is Dare to Live coaching, which is coaching, where I've been working with mindset and helping people with self-confidence and self-love and just breaking through those limitations. But recently I also got certified in eating distress recovery. So I will be helping people through more of that kind of journey, healing their relationship with food, healing relationship with their bodies, and ultimately with themselves, because those other things are just kind of coping mechanisms. They're just a solution for a problem that we don't understand fully. So that's kind of the area that I'm moving more into, because again, like I said, that was my experience and that's what I really wanted to help people with. I think it's just building that confidence in, I can, and I feel like I'm in a really good place now to be able to serve people at that level. And as well as that, I will be, well, I'm doing online workshops. I've created a package for schools, so secondary school students, so 15 to 19 here. We're getting online workshops into schools. We're doing talks and workshops in schools. And yeah, it's exciting. I'm really looking forward to working with young people because, again, that's when my struggle started. It was teenage years. It's a fucking, excuse my language, it's a hard.
This is a language welcome show, not a problem.
It's a morning show. Yeah, so it's just like it's a challenging time, and I really want to be able to give back that experience that I've had, those lessons that I've learned the hard way, and just help people to not have to go through that and to just be equipped with the resilience and the inner strength and mental strength as well to overcome those challenging times. So that's what I'm up to at the moment.
I love it, and tapping into that younger age bracket, I think, is just worth its weight in gold, because I know what it's like to try to resolve these problems as you're approaching 40, and you've got 20 plus years of baggage to try to work through and understand and comprehend. If we can sort of tap into people at the source as they're hopefully before they've even discovered any problems and have them prepared, but at least if it's in the early days, you're not trying to unpack so much and work through so much held on to negative thoughts and beliefs that can be around for so long. So I think that's an amazing space to be in.
Yeah. And the kind of concept we're going with, because here the final exams in school is called the leaving cert, and we're looking at how can we create a living cert. So it's about like being equipped for life, having those tools, knowing who you are, discovering your purpose. Like, just feel like that's so much more important than the things that we do get in education in the current system, and just highlighting that and bringing that to people's awareness that you can actually have a much more well-rounded experience by getting to know yourself first. Because yeah, that was, again, part of my struggle was that idea that like you go to school and at the end there's this big exam and that determines your whole life at the age of 17. Like,
Yeah,
it's insane.
a
But
little bit of pressure.
yeah, as well as everything else that's going on in your life at that age, like it's too much.
Yeah. Oh, what else we got coming through? Oh, Adam says, hello, you beautiful warriors. They're tuning in from a supermarket. Haha. Nice. That's dedication. Thanks, Adam. And Arnie Sheza said that was a great explanation of coaching life experience. Yes. That's what we're all about here, isn't it? It's just coming from deep down life, serious discussions to be had with people rather than making stuff up as we go, even though that can help now and then. I know I've used some making stuff up, bit of metaphor work, but living the life and having the experience is definitely a massive benefit when talking to people.
Yeah.
Oh, we've got a big one here. Well, I'm going to throw this one to you, Yvonne. Richard said, some people have some bouts of anxiety or panic and depression, but some have lifelong disorders like myself. So then I learned guided self-help and meditation and other methods that give you long periods of wellness and also times where it's bad. It's not so simplistic. It takes at least 3 sessions before I even would trust them and open up. So maybe take weeks, and I would want greater confidentiality. Don't like the fact that they have things they must report. Oops, hang on. To authorities. Yeah, well, that can be an issue as well, I suppose. But I guess with things like, depending on what you're saying, I suppose, but obviously if you've done anything illegal or that sort of thing, then it does have to be reported. But I know in a general space, us coaches don't have any sort of practical guidelines where we're bound with any certain expectations apart from what we carry ourselves, which I know I like to put forward before I have any sessions with anybody, that there's an expectation, understanding of confidentiality along with the judgment-free areas. And I think that's where you find what, a bit like when we backtrack a bit earlier where we said we are creating a safe space for the conversations to be had and allow for people to be comfortable in what they're saying. It's not that pressure environment of having any fear about where it's leading, because we're not part of a big conglomeration or a medical board or something. It's just one-on-one conversation trying to help you find the answers in yourself, not anything else. Did I get that right? That was a bit of a ramble. Sorry.
Absolutely.
Oh, God. I've lost track of myself. Oh, Adam's got a question. From the pandemic, what have you learnt with yourself?
That's a good question, because I think it definitely has been a lot of growth over 18 months, however long it's been now. Because when it kicked off, when like March 2020 was kind of when everyone's world shifted, and that was when I was trying to get out of Australia, unfortunately, and come home to Ireland. So yeah, I just about made it out on like the last flight. Everything had been cancelled. We'd been told that one was cancelled, so we got home in this hectic rush, and once I got home and we were straight into lockdown, it was like, okay, now is the time for business, because I had been intending to come home for 3 weeks and go off traveling again. So that kind of changed my plans. But it was, yeah, one of the things I learned was like adaptability, was kind of taking opportunities, was seeing things as they're playing out, as what can I do with this, not getting frustrated by the circumstances, and very much coming back to what I often tell clients, like focus on what you can control. What can I control in this moment? Okay, it's this. This is my bubble right now. How am I going to optimize it? And yeah, I learned to appreciate my local area a lot more. Like coming home, I didn't particularly want to be staying at home, but it's not so bad. So I learned to appreciate that more. And like that, it's been a whole lot of learning throughout the business journey, because I've never been in business before. It's my first time trying to get my coaching out and going. And yeah, it's just been something that has been embracing more uncertainty. It's been learning to stand on my truth more. It's been learning to just build that confidence in what I'm putting out there and learn my own value and worth, which I think just comes as part of that business journey anyway. But yeah, I think the
Yeah.
pandemic has had to have that focus to be like, all right, I'm not going anywhere else. I'm going to get my head down and do this. So even my own accountability for myself and being like, okay, I'm working from home. I have to get shit done, and just doing those things. So yeah, it's been a lot of growth, been a lot of learning in there, just as part of that journey as well, that happened to come across in the last year and a half.
Yeah, and I think you're spot on there too. I mean, I know I found the same thing as well. I keep drifting off doing all these other things because I've got the opportunity. Not having the opportunity has been a brilliant time to make the most of your time and to build businesses, foster passions, work on what you love, and there's no real excuses now. Like if you're not doing something that you want to do, why? Because you've got nowhere else to be and nothing else to do. It's just maybe you haven't got a big enough why or passion around what you want to do.
Yeah, because even that's the thing, like so often, like I would tell myself this story of, oh, I don't have enough time, or I wish I could just be in one place so I can do this. And then when you are, you're like, why am I not doing those things still? What is going on here that I'm not actually doing what I said I would do? So yeah, I think even that like wakes you up a bit to, okay, what do I really want? Where am I not nurturing what I say I want? What's the discrepancy there and stuff? So it's even that inner kind of journey as well happen, as well as all that. And yeah, it's a big opportunity in a way.
Yeah. So, what would your advice be to someone that is sort of thinking, yeah, I am really sitting around not making the most of my time? How have you got any tips or tricks on how people can sort of channel into a bit more around what their purpose is and what they want to achieve rather than going, yeah, I've only got through 74 hours of Netflix this week. I reckon I can punch out another 10 or 12.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot that can be said for that. I think the first thing that came to mind was getting compassionately curious. So always getting curious, I think, is a great way to approach ourselves, not judging ourselves, not like, why am I doing it? I'm being harsh in that way, because it's not going to open up the space for conversation within. So even just that curiosity with a healthy dose of compassion in there, like, what is it that I would be doing? What is it that my values are? Like, what aligns with me, and how am I living those now? Or even tapping into like Tony Robbins' 6 core needs. How am I unresourcefully maybe meeting my needs? Because at the moment, I think there is so much uncertainty that people are trying to do the things that feel certain. So if there's all this uncertainty, sorry, the sun has just come out. I'm blinded.
That's beautiful, though. You're radiating.
But when in times like this, when there is a lot of uncertainty, we might reach for Netflix, or we might reach for those things that we already know we can do, because we're trying to meet our need and balance things out. If there's a lot of uncertainty, we want to meet that with a lot of certainty. So it's not ideal to just have all this uncertainty and then be like, I'm going to start a business, or I'm going to do this other uncertain thing, because then we are going to procrastinate. We're going to self-sabotage, because it's just too much for us to handle. So even checking in with, how can I meet my needs in a resourceful way? Like, can I create healthy routines or habits that support me and get what I want to do done? Or even checking in with, okay, I'm spending a lot of time on Netflix, or I'm spending a lot of time doing things I know I don't want to do. How are they serving me? What am I getting from doing this? And just again, just asking these questions, just tapping into yourself, because I find that so interesting, intriguing, fascinating. Like, just why am I doing these things? What am I doing this for? What am I getting out of this? And just having these conversations with yourself can help you to even think about it. Because I think sometimes when we notice ourselves doing things that we wish we weren't doing, we'll just avoid looking at it. We'll be like, oh, I don't want to tell anyone about that, or I don't want to confront that. I've let myself down. I'm disappointed. And we attach all these different things to it. And we're like, oh, and we'll make up stories about, oh, I'm just lazy. Oh, I'm just whatever. But no, you're meeting your needs in some way. You're trying to do something for yourself. So just, is there a more resourceful way that you can do this? Is there a way you can do this that aligns you more with your values, with what you believe you're here for, with what you really want to be doing with your life, and how can you start bringing those things in little steps and little promises each and every day.
Yeah, that's great, isn't it? Because you don't have to change the world overnight. You can take babies. Like, you can never expect to just go from couch potato to marathon runner overnight. It's not going to happen. So you can, and you don't have to just decide in the moment exactly what you want to do. Have a little dabble here and see what really resonates. And I love what you said too about asking yourself questions, because I don't think the general population doesn't get to that level. It's just, yep, cool, I'm doing this or I'm doing that. It's not, why am I doing this? What's this giving me? Even if I know it's unresourceful, I'm doing it for a reason. Why? And just digging that little bit deeper. It doesn't have to be anything profound. Just those easy little questions can be enough to unlock that door that guides you into something a bit more useful.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, questions are our key. I think definitely in anything, it's just like, and like that, it's not an investigation. It doesn't need to be an interrogation into ourselves, but just like that gentle, I wonder what that could be about, or I wonder what I'm getting out of this, and just softly like pulling away at it, chipping away at what is the reason beneath this. And you can really find so much, like I've said earlier, the answers are all within you, so you can find them when you start getting curious.
Yeah, never forget that the answers are already inside. It's not something, there is no some great book you need to read to learn about you. You already have it all there. It's just a matter of untapping that hidden potential that we've all got inside of us, because if you don't, it's just a boring, uneventful, unresourceful life in the end, I think.
Yeah, 100%. Especially if you're not doing things that you really want to be doing, that really light you up, that really connect you to life. Like it's frustrating. I think there is that low level tension with yourself when you're not living the way that you know you want to be, but you might brush it off as, oh, this is just how it is. But there is part of you that's like screaming out for more, that knows that more is available. So it's just giving that part a voice, I think.
Yeah, and it doesn't end. I mean, I've got to admit, I've been in this space for years, and even now, I think this lockdown in Melbourne's hit me harder than any in the last 18 months. And I do have to catch myself quite a lot that I'm finding drifting off into places where I just haven't been for a long time. So I'm really trying to stay on the ball more now and be on guard, going, all right, when things get that little bit tougher, then you've got to ask the even better questions and come back to yourself a bit more and go, you know better than that. That wasn't resourceful. What can we do differently? And yeah, it's going to be a long journey for a lot of people breaking out of this. I think if we're 18 months in, that could be 36 months on the way out to try to build back up that confidence and comfortability in life.
Yeah, totally. It's something that is going to have longer effects, and that's why it's important, I think, having conversations like this and like, how can we make it as optimal as possible? Yes, it's not ideal. It is challenging, especially when it's more and more and more, and there seems to be no end in sight. And I think we need to have that compelling future, that thing to look forward to. So yeah, just finding the little magic moments in every day, or just what could make me feel good now. Self-care is more important than ever, I think, and just filling ourselves up so that we have that foundation to be able to deal with whatever is coming our way, or to be able to deal with the different restrictions or the whatever updates there are and things like that. Just knowing that we've got our own back, that we can handle this, that we've made it through, we can keep going. It's just really refueling that energy. So key.
And what do you think is the best way for us to deal with the younger people coming through they haven't even gone to the part where you're worried about keeping your house or your marriage or anything. They're just worried about not even being able to see friends. And I think it's hardest on kids by far, because they've never had the experience of being used to missing out on these things. They have only known this their entire lives. What do you think are the most important things we can do for the younger ones to guide them coming through the back end of all of this and giving them a bit of hope that they are going to have a decent future after this, even though they've missed so much schooling and time with their mates and everything?
Yeah, it's a challenging one for sure. And it is something that, like, my heart, like, I feel it for the young people, like just that idea of the things that are most important to them just not being available, or like that connection with friends, even going into school with masks on. Like, I know it is dampening that human connection, or people are wondering, like, am I being received okay? Or what does this person think of me? It's more challenging when we have broken that kind of inherent connection. So I think even just finding what you can in small ways, I think we're so used to maybe different ways of meeting these needs, or different ways that now we're not available. So it's like, what is available? So just developing that resourcefulness. What can I do with what I have right now? How can I make it optimal, or how can I make this better for myself? Gratitude, and coming into an attitude of gratitude, I think is always an answer to whatever's going on. It's like, well, what do I still have? What is still available to me? What skills do I have? Or even just doing that kind of self-development, like using this time in any way. If we can't connect to friends as much, can we connect to ourselves? Can we connect to our family? What is available for being able to connect with people like that, using technology or things that are available right now, just trying to see what is there. But yeah, it's so challenging, especially with that idea of the uncertainty or just these rules, and you have to just jump to them, or all these different things. You can't do this, you can't, like, because even sport here, or like team sports and stuff like that, for a long time was not available, and people need that outlet. So it's like, how can you express yourself? How can you get your energy out? Like, what can you do? And it's a big challenge, and I feel like even those don't feel like substantial answers, but yeah, it's just doing what you can with what you have.
I know the sports things. I mean, yeah, you know me. I suppose a lot of other people that are watching don't, but yeah, I've been a junior sports coach for 20 years, and it's like that lights me up like nothing else. And watching these kids, just last year we didn't play at all, and then this year look, we've got a season. We get in 10 weeks, everyone's excited. No, let's stop. Come back for 2 weeks. No, stop. And it's like so many of these kids are never going to come back. Because parents don't overly love, especially winter sports. They don't like going out at night in the wet and the cold for training. They don't like losing their weekends. And you give them a couple of years of being able to stay at home, and the kids going, well, yeah, you know, I don't have to run. No one's making me do stuff. So many of them are just not coming back. The numbers just this year, returning from last year, were down about 25%, and I'm really worried about where that'll go to next year.
Yeah. No, it is. It's not good seeing that or hearing those numbers, because I think people need that. Kids need that, especially. And like, yeah, on one side it is use the technology and stuff, but it's like, when there is an alternative option, definitely be in person, definitely be outside, definitely be with other humans if you can, like, because you can't replicate that. You can't replicate that team spirit even, or the working towards a goal together, or like everything that sports give young people, or any people really. It's so important.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, not just the kids, I suppose. Like, I know if we take the lockdowns as, well, I'm not going anywhere, as opposed to going, there's so many parts of 5 kilometres from home that I haven't realised are here before. Like, that's one of the things I've found the best, is all these little different pockets around your local neighbourhood that are just absolute gold to get out and amongst in, that you just didn't realise were there because you were never forced to try to find things so close.
That's it. Yeah, you do appreciate what's there, like, so much more. And I think in some ways that's like such a blessing for so many people. It's like, okay, it's actually not so bad here. Like, well, I found that anyway. It's like, it's actually all right. There's a forest, there's a park, there's a canal. Like, there is different places to go. And then as they started, kind of, I think you could go from 5 to maybe 20 kilometers. Like, where's in 20 kilometers? That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's so exciting.
It's just opened up a whole new world.
Yeah. Who needs traveling?
Yeah, Richard said, yeah, Zoom and StreamYard have been invaluable and godsends during the pandemic. Definitely.
Absolutely.
Definitely. Without Zoom and Facebook and all these other things, I know I would have been, being someone whose number one value is connection, I would have just been destroyed without being able to tap into everybody and see people, like, without these platforms. So I think we are very lucky that this has happened now than in the 80s or 90s, when we had Nokia phones with a snake game, and that was about as far as we could get to. There's definitely a lot of positives that we've got in this current time that we would have been absolutely annihilated without earlier times.
Yeah, no, definitely.
And Richard, he goes out in the park when it's much emptier and when there's less about, and yeah, he just stays in the flat nice and safe. Yeah, and I think there's a lot to be said too about people living by what you're comfortable with. Like, it's great to get outdoors, but if you don't be around people, maybe it's worth getting up that bit earlier. I know when I go for a walk or a run, I try to be out by 6 a.m. I'm not crossing paths with many people. It's got nothing to do with that. I just like the early morning space. But yeah, if you sort of find that things upset you, then there's always a way to still do it, but you just got to sort of think outside the box a little bit.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, we've been like that as well. One of my dogs is quite angry. So she's not great with other dogs, and like that would just go out that bit earlier and just avoid people because yeah, I've noticed even throughout it as well, like people are getting out. The people do seem to be more active, and there's a lot more people in the park, and people are appreciating it and having those nearly those little eye contact moments or those little bits where maybe you're crossing the road to avoid each other in some ways, but at the same time there's a nod or there's a hello, and people are getting that connection in little ways, or they're getting out and they're doing what they can as well. So yeah, it's kind of nice to even be out at those times when there is more people if you're
Yeah.
comfortable with that. But it's nice to have the option as well to be like, okay, I just want to get out for a walk and not have to like think about anything too challenging.
And I think it's good to be that person that is, if you are out on the walk and there is a lot of people, it's quite good to be that upbeat person that does, like, if you're wearing a mask, it's hard to see the smile, but I think the eyes always give it away. A smile and a hello through the mask. How you going? It can just brighten people's days up a little bit when they're out and about, especially if it's someone that's walking on their own and it looks like they're maybe just trying to kill a bit of time. They're a bit lonely. Just that quick hello and how you going, you can sort of brighten up their day with some real simplistic things.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I found even because where I'm living now is where I grew up, and probably had more connection with people around in the last year and a half or whatever since being home than I would have grown up, because I wouldn't have valued it as much. Maybe just that idea of saying hello or saying good morning, and now that there's kind of the regulars like who are out at a similar time. Like, oh, how are you going or whatever, and it's just nice like having that sense of community, sense of like that even throughout the world we're all experiencing something challenging, but to be able to have that kind of camaraderie or that connection with people, it's so valuable. It just means something that you're like, okay, we're okay. We're still getting out, we're still doing things, we're still smiling, and it just, yeah, it drives you forward, I think.
I love that. You're spot on. There is, like, if you go at pretty much the same time every day, you do have that camaraderie. It's like your little network. You're like,
Yeah.
when I get round the corner from the farm and go past that tree, I'm going to see the bloke with the dog that always wears the blue hat. And then when I get over the bridge, I'll see that lovely older lady that rides her push bike and is always up for a chat. It's like you just get to know your own people.
Yeah, it's like out the dog's like, where's the dogs today? Or like people just know you.
It's like your friends that have only ever crossed paths walking or running. It's amazing. We just build communities around people that meet up at the specific times to go and get a bit of exercise and a bit of nature.
Yeah.
How important do you find nature? I know you're a nature lover. How important do you think it is for when you are battling mentally or you've got any issues, just to get out and about and just be grounded and present with what's around us?
There's so much benefit to it. Like even, yeah, again, like over the last few years, I've grown such an appreciation for it. Like when I was younger and would go, like my family have always been into it and love hikes and going up the mountains or things like that. And I was such a rat bag for want of other words. Like, oh, I don't want to walk. I don't want to do this. And I don't care like about any of the beautiful scenery or anything. And then since traveling, I think just getting it's like my eyes just took on a whole new capacity for vision. And I started really enjoying nature and yeah, started to be a tree hugger. That was pretty much me as well. True to say it there. Like grounding, we'll go to the park now, we will just like touch the tree for a few minutes and just have that grounding, or out the back garden barefoot, like having that connection with nature, or walked along the canal barefoot, and you just feel different. And I think even for your mental well-being, I think there is just that sense of connection with something greater, or that you're part of it, or like sometimes even if you find it challenging being around people, that connection to nature can nearly serve in a similar way that you're part of something bigger, or that you're part of a greater whole or something like that. I've found that anyway. Yeah, absolutely love nature, and I'd nearly feel strange not connecting to it, or if I'd miss it for a day or something, I'd feel it. I'd be like, oh, I need to just get outside. I need to touch a tree, hug a tree, get into the grass, like something. Or yeah, you feel like you're missing something. Yeah.
It does make a huge difference. It makes a massive difference. And I think, yeah, you touched on it well. It's like you do become a part of it. You can sort of lose yourself for that point in time and just be at one. Like you're more, it's almost going to some sort of alien speech there. You're more like you're part of it. You're not just in it. You almost expand into the surroundings, and you can be at one and in touch with, especially if you're totally present in the moment. You can notice you're not just feeling the wind or hearing the wind, you're almost in the wind as it rushes through you, and the sounds of the leaves and the birds, and you notice that butterfly. You can't hear it, but you almost can imagine what it sounds like when you get really into that state. it just makes troubles melt away because you can't think of negative things when you're in beautiful spaces.
Yeah, and like that connection to your senses, like it's huge for just getting out of your mind into your body, into your current experience, the present moment. And that's something when we are anxious, we're future or past thinking or things like that. And it seems like so hectic in our mind. But if you do just have that moment of what can I hear around me, what can I see, and just really connect into that. And nature is so beautiful for being able to do that because there's always something to connect to in that, like sensually, is that the word? With your
Yeah,
senses.
yeah, sensory. It's amazing. Like you can, I think we don't appreciate our senses enough, and what we can, how they can guide us moving forward. Like just taking the time to hear the sounds around you or smell. Like I know we've just hit the first day of spring, and you start, not great for a hay fever sufferer, but you do get that sense of the nicer weather's coming from the smells are in the air and the pollens and the brighter colours coming through with all the reinvigoration. It's like a perfect time for like a rebirth when everything's starting to grow again and get green and lush. I think we can learn a lot from the way the seasons change like that as well.
Yeah, 100%. I was only mentioning yesterday because when it comes into September, I feel this feeling. I call it the September feeling. I always forget I get it. And then it comes towards September, like, oh, yeah, there it is. Just like this, because here it's coming into autumn. So it's like a different shift, but it's still that change in season. And I think we feel it because, like that, we are part of nature. We're part of this kind of whatever's going on in the world. We're all kind of connected to it in some way. And yeah, I always get this shift towards September. It's like I want something different, something new. What's coming up for me? And it's nearly like my January. It's like a reset in some ways. So yeah, I think even tuning into the seasons or like that. Is it a time for something new? Is it a time for rest and just connecting to it? Well, what's nature up to? Maybe I could model a bit of that. Maybe there's some wisdom in there for me as well.
I think so too. Like this is my rebirth time, and then yeah, similar to you, when I'm coming into the colder times, it's like okay, now might be a bit more of hibernation and do a lot more internal work and
Mm,
things where I can concentrate more on the coaching side of things, and then yeah, now it's starting to be okay. That's how much time can I get outdoors? It's almost daylight savings, and just yeah, go with the flow of what nature's telling us at the time.
yeah, beautiful.
Oh, Melissa's joined us. Hey, Melissa, another one of our great friends from Australia. And we've got another question from Adam. If I missed it, I apologise, but my question to Yvonne is everyone has a gift and a message to offer the universe. What is yours?
Ooh, that's a big
Ooh,
question. I like that.
that's quite deep and profound from the mental health warrior himself.
Love it. What is my everyone has a gift and message. I feel like gift comes up as like passion. I feel like I get very passionate about things. I think that's a gift in itself, having that energy to create the difference I want to make or be the change I wish to see. And my message is, oh, there's so many. I feel like there's a lot that I want to impart in the universe while I'm here. So I think it just even, yeah, coming home to the wholeness of who you are is a big one for me. Just realizing your power and potential, and living in your authentic truth, which I think different people are going to have different interpretations of. But whatever that is for you, it's absolutely valid and adequate to tap into that and to live from that place. I think we're all here. Like there's that quote, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you are. I think it's Carl Jung. And I wholeheartedly believe that that's what I believe our purpose is to become who you are. So whoever you've landed here as, whatever form you've taken, that is the true you, not the you that has learned these limiting beliefs or that is stopped by fear, but the real you that is here with a message and a voice and a purpose, like finding that and just becoming that. That's what I believe we're here for. So I guess that's my message. I need to maybe slice it up a bit.
I love that. That is brilliant. Like, there is no one size fits all. You've got to find the you that you're born to be and you want to be and you're comfortable in and grow and nurture it. We're all like plants. Make sure you're watering yourself with the right stuff and fertilizing where you need to become the best you possible because you're amazing whoever you are. No matter where you've been, where you're going, you're already amazing. You're totally whole. And now it's just a matter of working out how to expand and grow those stronger limbs and get taller and be able to handle the gale force winds and the driving rains and be able to take all of that on board as a person because we are totally perfect and it is just eternal growth and being optimistic that you are on the right path. It doesn't matter what's happened before. It's where you're going now and just grow upwards and strong and fertile and you're going to be able to withstand anything.
Yeah. I love that. What a
I
beautiful.
don't know where that came from. That just snuck in.
That's amazing.
Oh, and I like Christine Charles says that feeling when you realise you've been holding your breath and you finally take a moment to truly feel your lungs. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that feeling too. When you and that reinvigorates as well. Breath work's another phenomenal thing that can help with your mind so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I've only really connected to that over the last year, like that. It's been a big year, but that's something that I found so powerful, so useful, and it's free and it's available at any time. It's amazing what we have like at our fingertips, at our lung tips.
Yeah, one tip. We take it for granted. It's like, yeah, I breathe. Everyone breathes, but no, there's
Mm,
different ways to breathe that can really be beneficial.
yeah, absolutely.
I love it. Oh, what's Adam got now? Adam thinks he gets deep and straight to the point because he wants to bring the best out in people. Yeah, we'll give you that one. And he connected to nature 2 months ago when he hit rock bottom. He sat in the rain for a good 20 minutes and loved it.
Mm,
Nothing wrong with sitting, standing in the rain, singing in the rain, jumping in the puddles.
wow, yeah,
Just
love the rain.
just being attached and grounded to everything is just so good. It is so good, and that is, yeah, I know for me, every time things don't feel right, that's all it takes is just being out and about and the connections with everything around me, the people, the animals, doesn't matter what it is, just connect deeply to everything. And
Mm,
then you'll find yourself totally out of thought. And I think that's the secret, isn't it? Like thinking kills us. Thinking, I know you've got to think to live, but overthinking is the destroyer of happiness. It just,
yeah,
we generally don't overthink great thoughts. We always float to the negative side of things. So the less you can be caught in your mind and come more from inside, it's going to make such a difference in your life.
yeah, 100%. And like that, even just coming back into that being, because yeah, our minds can get so overactive and they think that's what they do. But when it's just getting out of hand and creating the feelings in us that just it's overwhelming or it's so challenging or we can't handle things, it's like, okay, come back to now and just quieten down that noise. It can be so, so powerful. It makes such a difference.
We're copping a bit of grief there. Steve shouldn't think too much as steam comes pouring out. Oh, geez, that's a bit harsh. God, I'm copping it here. Wow. I'm going to go back to Dorota now because that's much more friendly. Trees and woods help her to deal with grief. As her dad loves trees and nature in general, it's now my source of comfort. Yeah, beautifully said.
Mm,
That's the secret, isn't it? I mean, I know we've banged on about nature as nature lovers, but it's really finding what deep down works for you and does give you that comfort and that sense of getting out of your head and a calmfulness and a peaceful on the inside and the outside is going to change how you present to the world as well and how you're received and what you're giving out. Like I always say it, if you want to receive something, give it out, give it out, give it out, and it's going to come back. Always works that way. Just make sure you're doing it in a positive, friendly, nice, ecological sense.
beautifully said.
I mean, that's one thing I've found that helps me get through as well. I know it's a bit more difficult when we're not allowed to go anywhere, but donating your time to people is amazing. And the connections you'll make and the people and the stories you'll hear just from taking the time to have conversations, or if you are able to get out to like one of the local charity places that are helping people struggle with a meal and get in and give them a hand for an hour, it gives you back a lot more than you're giving up in your hours time to help people. And they're always so appreciative when you're out and about with these people and you see that you're giving your time. It's just a beautiful space to try to make a weekly practice of, if possible, if you've got, which we all seem to have a bit more time on our hands now.
Yeah, I love that. I think we have so much to contribute and we forget sometimes, and especially when we are finding things challenging, can be very like self-focused, not judging that because I would have been very much like that myself. But you forget there are other people, or you forget that you can actually still make a difference because sometimes it feels like I can't even look after myself. How can I look after others? But if you do just even your time or even just a listening ear, it does help so much to get out of your own mind, get out of your own problems and worries, and to just be there for someone else. like everyone benefits. I think it is something that is very much, there is no loser. There is no losing from it. It is just like you're contributing and you do receive that back then as well. You get that support back.
Yeah, totally. And I think it does give you that greater sense of appreciation of how much we have. It's so easy to go, oh, I can't do this, I can't go that, oh, I haven't got the money coming in. But all of us, and I think pretty much everyone watching here, is probably in the top 1% in the world for what we have compared to so many others. And going back to what you said before about the attitude of gratitude and just being so thankful for all the privileges we have in our lives and the opportunities to be able to come together on platforms like this and just be able to leave our houses, have food. Like it's something that so many people go without. And I think when you tap deeper into all the abundance that we live with on a daily basis, it makes life a lot easier as well in times like this where it feels like the whole world's against you. Go, well, hang on. No, I'm pretty sweet where I am. I'm going to be thankful for that.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. It helps just shift your focus so much. And like, as we know, we probably often say, like, what you focus on grows. So if you are focusing on how hard things are, how terrible everything is, or how challenging it is, like, it's not to say just ignore it, but shifting your focus even to like, what is good about right now? What do I have? What is available to me? It makes you feel better. Like, it instantly can change your state. And if you come then back to the challenges from that elevated state, you might actually be more solution focused. You might actually have more answers. You might be able to handle it that bit better because you've filled up with that energy of gratitude. It's really powerful.
So powerful. Gratitude all the way. We are massive practices of gratitude, and you can't go wrong. It never fails. Gratitude for everything. I know we've talked about this before as well, about just having that gratitude for everything that's come and gone, no matter how bad or negative it was. It's a lesson, and it's guided you in some direction that's going to be beneficial if you take out of it what it is and what it can give you, and not just only be grateful for good and happy times, because you can learn something from everything. And that gratitude covering across all facets, past, present, future, can just elevate your mindset amazingly.
Yeah, 100%. Like, life is a teacher, and it's how we relate to that teacher that changes the game. Like that, we've independently had our own challenges and things like that, but without those, we wouldn't be talking about these things now. We wouldn't have probably propelled into the area that we want to work in now. We wouldn't be able to, like we were saying earlier, like meet clients with a load of experience because we would have just like not had any challenges or something. So it's through that stuff that we actually grow, and there is so much to be grateful for, even in the challenging times, even in the stuff that at the time probably wouldn't wish it on our worst enemy, but having that within us and overcoming that, like, that's a big deal. That gives us so much strength that maybe we couldn't have gotten in another way or through an easier route or whatever it is.
That's it. Yeah, being able to overcome the challenge is much more beneficial than never coming across the challenge in the first place. You can't learn or grow from having just plain sailing, no rough seas. You've got to be on the ship getting battered by the waves to learn the lessons of life, I think.
Yeah.
And what have we got? Comments are coming through thick and fast now. Dorota says we are part of nature, hence embracing it makes us whole. Yeah. That's magic. Absolutely magic. And Melissa, listening to our own inner rhythm, as you were saying before, we coincide with the natural rhythm of nature, and to look at how the elements of wood, fire, earth, and air encourage us to honour what we are feeling.
Well,
jeez, we're getting deeper comments than I can come up with as the host. This is no good. No, I am loving them. And what Richard says, he thinks now 65% great thoughts or brilliant inspiration ideas and 35% negative. Total change around used to be opposite. I now adjust to disappointment, then I get up, dust myself off, and start all over again. Good attitude to have. Know that a setback or a disappointment is not the end of you. It's just another opportunity to grow, learn, and take all the learnings that you can from it that can guide you forward to give you a slightly different experience the next time around. It always helps. And then another one from Richard. Can you channel anger into a positive? Ooh. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I feel like you can turn anything into a positive with my attitude. But yeah, I think there's an energy in anger, and I think it's higher up than we might realize. It's like we're not apathetic. So when we have anger, it's kind of a positive thing that we're feeling strongly about something. And not necessarily always in the situation, but anger in itself, it's just energy emotion. It's just one of our emotions. So it can, once it's felt and we receive the signal that it's trying to give us, there is a positive, because even in that we're learning something, or we're tuning into our experience more. So I think, yeah, you can even, it's how you express it. I think that can be negative, or can be less resourceful,
Yeah.
or less helpful for ourselves. So if I'm angry and I punch someone in the face, not ideal. But if
Yeah.
we can
No
turn that
violence.
yeah, a punching bag or poetry or things like that, then you can release that energy, because it is a lot of, it's a very energetic kind of emotion, and it does have a lot within it. So if we can, one, try and find the lesson from it, what is it telling me, what's this about, and two, how can I express it in a resourceful, like expressive way, or a way that just lets it out fully, or even just being with it, sitting with it, allowing it to pass through as well, and just having that experience. That's what I would think about it.
Yeah, and I agree. I think there's positives in everything. And if you work out where that anger's coming from, what's triggering it, you're going to find a deeper reason for the anger to have surfaced in the first place. And you're probably going to learn a lot about yourself. Like everything, you learn a lot more from the negatives than the positives. So I think 100% you can channel anger into a positive. It's just how you embrace it and understand it, and probably don't let it consume you. Don't start getting angry and let it build and build and build until it's uncontrollable anger. If you can understand, accept its place, realize why you're getting angry, and then channel it, so it's kind of a circle that you're working through, and then come out the other side in with a positive intention, then I think it can definitely be a positive. So that's from us too. You could find a different answer totally from someone else, but yeah, we're running the show, so that's what we think. And Adam says to remind everyone it's Suicide Prevention Month, which from our point of view at the Mental Health Warriors, I think we like to live every single month as Suicide Prevention Month, and that's what we're here for. So yeah, but when everything gets its own month, we'll promote and make sure the word gets out there as much as possible. But so I'd like to know, Yvonne, what exciting things are coming up? What other projects are in the pipeline?
Well, it is September. And like I said, I get that funny feeling in September. I'm like, I want to do something. So I'm calling it Self-Love September. So I am on a mission to talk about self-love as often as possible throughout the month. I have an online course, the Self-Love Starter Kit as well. So I'm going to be promoting that and sharing that with a special offer this month as well, to just help people to begin loving themselves, because the word self-love used to make me just feel so uncomfortable, and I hated the idea of it. And I know many people resonate, or they don't want to end up arrogant or full of themselves, or these kind of connotations we have of it. So I wanted to make it really accessible and really tangible, this idea of self-love, what it even means, how we can just begin to start that journey, because it is a journey, and it's one of the best journeys I've ever been on. So I want to share that love of self-love with just about anyone who will listen. So that's what's coming up this month anyway.
I love it. I think self-love gets totally misconstrued.
Yeah.
It's not self-indulgent. It's self-love and taking care of yourself, and it's not selfishness. I think there's a lot of confusion when we talk about self-love, and if you dig into it deeper, if you can't love yourself, how can you ever totally fully love anybody or anything else? If you can't tap into that inner connection, then you're never giving all of yourself in a loving way to anything else.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like we're coming from a place of lack when we're not loving ourselves, or even just, one of my favorite definitions of it is unconditional friendliness towards the self. And I think if we can't be like self-love, and if we can't get there yet, can I be friendly to myself unconditionally, instead of putting terms and conditions and judgments and criticisms all the time on these things, but just like checking in, like, how can I be more friendly to myself in this way? And that can be a really nice entry point to just, okay, it's not about like just only caring about myself. It's not about just whatever we've made up about it, but it is just that friendliness. And then, yeah, I like that, having that unconditional sense, that means that we've so much more love to offer other people. It's an overflow, because we've already given ourselves all that love. We've already loved ourselves through all the bits of ourselves we don't like, or the challenging parts, or the bits that we've been judging. If we can learn to love ourselves to that depth, then we've so much to offer other people in terms of love. And I think the world could do with a bit more love at the moment.
Oh, yes. Brilliantly said, yes. Make sure your own love cup's full and overflowing first, so that you can just pour it out onto everybody else.
100%.
And how can people find you, Yvonne, if anyone would be interested in knowing more about the Self-Love September and the program and everything? Where's the best place to find you?
Probably Dare to Live on Facebook is my business page, or Dare to Live SOS on Instagram. I'm more regular on Instagram, so you probably find me chatting more there. Also, Dare to Live Coaching.com has everything I offer up there, so you can find out more.
So don't forget Dare to Live. You'll find it on all platforms, or message me or Yvonne if you get lost, because I'm a member. Don't worry, I'm there. I can guide you through. And amazing, I've got to say. You will gain so much from being a part of Yvonne's groups, just without even the programs, the amazing resources and content that Yvonne posts basically daily. You don't miss too many. You will gain so much from it. So I could not recommend any more highly getting involved in all of Yvonne's stuff, because I benefit so much, and I know everyone watching would. And we've got a final question from Adam as well. Yvonne, you are due to leave the Mental Health Warriors team, which all of us are devastated to lose you as you're committed to your projects, but we want to know, will we see you returning in the future?
Yeah, I would hope to. Yeah, it's just like that, even coming back to that self-care of, I have a bunch of things on at the moment and I just can't commit to it as I'd like to, but I love the work you're doing. Obviously, mental health is very close to my heart and something I feel very passionate about. So yeah, I would love to pop back in the future when things free up or when things are a bit different. But yeah, definitely will be supporting you along the way anyway.
That's it. There's only so much of us can go around, isn't there? We can only spread ourselves so thin before we get a bit too thin and we're not really providing much value to anybody on any of our fronts. So I totally understand and respect that side of things too, because I see firsthand the work that Yvonne puts into changing people's lives and helping them find their path, and it is a lot of work. Being that good and providing so much value takes time. It's not just an overnight little tap in. When everybody sees Yvonne on stage and on telly one day, you'll know that it's been years of dedication and hard work. It didn't just come by accident. It will all be thoroughly deserved and well hard worked for.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, look at Auntie Shazza. Drop in anytime, Yvonne. We love you. Adam, thank you for everything, Yvonne. You're an awesome advocate and we love you and everything you're doing.
Thank you so much.
Well, I know I've said it many times, but I love you, Yvonne. I reckon you're amazing. I love everything you do. You're a massive beacon of light and hope to so many people, and watching where you're headed is just super exciting for me. You inspire me every day, so I absolutely love it, and I know that if we can chat again, well, I know we're going to, but I'll have you on again, and I'm sure every time we catch up, people will see that you've just taken another massive stride of success and helped another bunch of people, and there'll be so much to learn more and more going forward. It's so exciting.
Thank you so much. My face hurts from smiling. Thank you. And totally, yeah, I was saying back at you, I love what you're doing, love everything about who you are and what you're providing to the world, sharing and contributing. So yeah, thank you, and keep at it. I'm looking forward to seeing where you're headed as well.
See how if you're going to have a power hour of mindfulness, it just ends in a love fest where everybody is mutually appreciative and grateful for everything that's going on, and the inspiring nature of all of these amazing people I'm lucky enough to be surrounded with. And I do have to mention, as Adam's reminded me, I was going to try to scroll up to double check the time, but at 1 p.m. UK time today, Kerry Burr will be live with Byron. Everyone tune in, because I know that'll be an awesome interview. I'm going to try to if I'm still awake, but for people that know me, I'm an old man that goes to bed early and gets up early, so I might not make it. And Melissa says, so inspiring, thank you. And we like to thank you for watching, Melissa. I know from a personal point of view, I absolutely could not be more appreciative and grateful for people that take any time out of their day to listen to me rattle on with random crazy mindset thoughts, and my amazing guests, which do provide so much value that go beyond my understanding half of the time. It goes right over my head, but I do my best to sort of stay up to speed with what's going on. So, yeah, for me, I just, could not be more grateful that, people tune in and listen to us. And I know I said it before, but definitely get involved with everything Yvonne's doing. Dare to Live SOS on Instagram. You will get so much value out of it. Oh, who's on next week, Steve? I believe, I'm waiting for confirmation. If she's still watching, I'm pretty sure Dorota is joining me next week. Oh, and Richard's saying maybe have me on. All right, Richard, I'll be in touch and we will book a date in, I think, October. I'm pretty sure September is gone and there's a week left in October with an opening. So we'll lock something in, Richard, because I'd love to have you on, as long as you don't mention any more of this England winning the Ashes in Australia rubbish, because we won't be letting that happen anytime soon. All right. So that is it from us, guys. Yvonne, again, thank you so much for taking time out of your morning to come and join us. I've absolutely loved every minute of it, as always.
Likewise, thank you so much for having me on.
And everybody else, thank you for watching. I will see you all. Oh, I'm back again tomorrow night, actually. So I will see you guys at 7 p.m. Aussie time and 10 a.m. UK time. I'm getting better at this. Everyone else, have an amazing night, morning, afternoon, day, and I will see you all soon. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.